I'm Naomi Rodgers. I'm a stutterer, a speech therapist, a researcher, and professor at the University of Iowa. I want to share a story about an app called Impulse that Samsung released in 2024 for its Galaxy Watch. And so Samsung marketed this as a tool to help people who stutter speak more fluently by delivering these rhythmic vibrations or haptic beats on the person's wrist. And so the speaker would feel these rhythmic pulses on their wrist and try to match their speech to the beat, kind of like that. And so, yes, my speech sounded, I guess, fluent or stutter free. But it is incredibly taxing on me as the speaker because I have to spend a lot of my cognitive energy trying to pay attention to the beat, matching my speech to this beat, and totally takes me out of this interpersonal interaction and connection that I would much prefer to invest my energy in. And so, this idea that rhythm can be fluency enhancing for stutterers has been around for a long time. People who stutter and speech therapists have long been using metronomes to help stutterers speak without stuttering for ages. And while some people may find it helpful in some situations, Samsung's marketing made it sound like this app could cure stuttering. They used phrases like erasing stuttering and unlocking fluent speech. And it was that messaging that was really problematic and really concerning to us. So I joined others in the stuttering community, other allies, folks who stutter, other clinicians, and we spoke out publicly and shared why this kind of ideology and language that was pushing was really harmful. And I was actually interviewed by a local news outlet called KCRG here in Iowa, where I talked about how these promises not only ignore the very real and very lived experiences of people who stutter, but also reinforce this idea that all stutterers should want to speak fluently. That the burden of responsibility is on stutterers to fix our broken speech so that it's easier for listeners to listen to. And that's simply not true. In this initiative, our collective message was this: stuttering is not something to be cured or erased. What we need is for there to be accurate information about what stuttering is and what it's not, and for listeners to be more understanding, and for stutterers to have more space to feel free to show up in conversations and relationships as they naturally are. And the good news is that Samsung listened. They actually removed some of the more extreme claims from their website and softened their messaging in their ads. Was it perfect? No, but it was a win. And it showed that when we speak up together, we can really change the narrative. And so this moment mattered because it wasn't just about this one app, right? It was about challenging this idea that people who stutter need to be fixed in order to belong. It was about saying stuttering is a valid way of talking, and our worth is not measured by our fluency. And so to me, this is what transformative belonging looks like. Not just being included if we sound like everyone else, but actually being welcomed and truly valued as we are. And that kind of belonging requires systems and stories to change.